Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast Behind the Groove. I'm DJ Keo.
I am Basil Barrington, and dude, we had a little homework assignment,
Yes.
an Amazon original movie, The Tomorrow World, and hell
So
yeah,
yeah,
dude, it was The Tomorrow World. I mean, I don't know about this movie. It was an Amazon original movie, Paramount.
yeah.
Um,
I think they bought. It was supposed to come in theaters, and I
yeah,
guess because of the pandemic, they're just like, screw it, we'll sell it to Amazon. I think
exactly.
Amazon bought it for like a couple hundred million, and they're like, just Amazon, there you go.
Yeah. Do you think that before we even get into it, do you think this movie would have done better in the theaters?
Yeah, I
Really?
think it's the type of dumb popcorn flick that I think would have done well. Because like Fast and Furious is doing like I think they're like 400 or 500 million already for Fast and the Furious. It's like people just want that silly movie.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it would have done. Plus, Chris Pratt is a huge star. He got two Jurassic Park movies over $1 billion. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think he would have pulled this thing over the hump.
Yeah, but do you think that I was reading some place where the budget was 200 million for this film, right?
Yeah,
So
you
we
can tell.
have yeah, so see that's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, 200 million. I'm thinking 200 million is a lot of money to produce a film, but Jupiter's
Huh.
Legacy also spent 200 million to produce, 8 episodes of whatever that was. And now you have 200 million to produce this sort of CGI laden,
Well,
you
here's the
know,
thing though. With
zombie
movies
time
today,
travel.
150 was the norm,
Hmm.
and then now 200 million is about the rough estimate for an action blockbuster. Like that's the norm. I
Wow.
think when Titanic was the first movie that cost like around 200 million, and everybody lost their mind, and then it made $1 billion, and they're like, well, we could take our chances.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then Lord of the Rings was the next one that it's split between three movies, but it was still like a high budget. I think it's like 250 or around that range. But it's
Wow.
three movies though.
Yeah.
So
It really
the
is.
average right now for like a superhero movie is 200 million, just right off the bat.
Okay, let's go through. Give like a very quick, high level overview of the Tomorrow World.
So it's about this guy. He's a teacher, a science teacher. He used to be in the army, and he's watching the World Cup or something with his daughter. And these people from the future come in the middle of the game and stop the game. And basically, they say there's a war going on in the future, and they're taking people that are above a certain age to the future to kind of try and fight the war. To how they need bodies because they're running out. So they say the future is like maybe 500,000 people left on the whole planet,
Yeah.
and so they're grabbing adults, middle-aged adults, and bringing them into the future to fight the war.
That is
Just
like
because
so
if
screwed
you
up.
pull the kids, yeah, if you pull the kids,
That's
they
the
could
future.
die,
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
the future's gone. So they're bringing
Right.
middle-aged adults into the
Hmm.
future
Wow.
and to fight this war with this species.
The
And that's
white
the
spikes.
yeah, that's the premise of the movie without giving spoilers away. We can talk about spoilers later, but that's the premise of the movie.
Okay, so there were what did you think of the movie overall? I mean, like, were you into it? Is this something you would watch
I'll
again?
say this. I'll watch it again. I will say
Hmm.
this though. It was too long,
Way too long.
and I think that the movie took a turn somewhere in the middle, and it stopped being the military action movie, and it turned into like a biology type movie, sciencey movie,
Mhm.
and then it kind of took a turn. I wasn't expecting that. I think that it probably would have been better if they cut it off and left it as a cliffhanger and kind of made another movie rather than putting everything into this one movie. It probably would have worked better because it felt like they just put a lot of plot into the one movie. So I would
Yeah,
say that.
when the credits were rolling, I was hoping that there wasn't sort of a cliffhanger, like an alien, survived the, the
Yeah.
bomb. I was just saying, oh, I hope this is the end of it. No more Tomorrow World 2, dude. It's just like, no, I don't want to see any more white spikes. I mean, it was a weird movie for me. First of all, I watched it Friday. I think it was a Friday early afternoon. So, and I spent about 3 hours watching the movie.
So you
That's the
stopped and
cool.
started?
Well, I was just like, hey, let me stop it, go make some food, go have some drinks,
Mm-hmm.
go text someone, play some music.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those sort of things, right? It wasn't like, to me, it wasn't like so compelling enough to just like sit down and watch it and just take bathroom breaks or something like that. I thought, really, I wasted 3 hours of my time on a Friday early afternoon. It was nice and sunny. I could have been out having drinks or something like that,
Yeah.
but,
I think this movie reminded me of Aliens
mhm.
and Terminator.
Wow,
It's a
really?
time travel thing. Yeah, it
Mhm.
reminded me of those two things. Oh, are we gonna get into spoilers or just go for it?
Dude, this is the Behind the Groove podcast.
All
Everything
right,
is a
let's go
spoiler.
for it. This movie is 100% aliens. It's 100% in my
That's
opinion,
it.
aliens.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you seen Prometheus? The movie
Yeah.
Prometheus?
Mhm.
Yeah. So how that the alien, the xenomorphs is a weapon,
Mhm.
that's what I think this thing is. In the Alien, they
Mhm.
have these little eggs thing, and they've got the face huggers and all that crap,
Right.
whatever. But
Mhm.
like at towards the end of this movie, they go into this chamber, and there's like thousands of these things in the chamber, and they made the argument that looks like they weren't supposed to come to Earth; they're going to another planet with these things,
Right.
and it felt they thought they crash landed on Earth, and that 100% reminded me of Aliens with the xenomorphs. It's
Mhm.
like this perfect kind of killing weapon that they dropped on, and I think it's Alien Covenant. The android dropped it on the alien species or their planet, and it kind of wiped them out. Is exact same premise, exact same premise,
So those
just with time
aliens
travel.
were, I mean, so basically these aliens in the Tomorrow World they were
It
already
looks like
here.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They,
they're already here.
right. And someone alluded to the fact that, hey, someone could have brought them here to create weapons, but they dug
Mhm.
themselves out of like, 100 million like feet of ice. And they just
Yeah,
wanted
they
to
said
feed. They just wanted to
the
have
argument
eat.
for it was so silly that they went to
Yeah.
the high school to talk to the kid about where the volcano thing came from to get where that was just hilarious.
He's the expert.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But like the idea is that they said in 20 something years
Mhm.
that that area of in Russia would have melted because of global warming,
Right.
and it would have freed the aliens out around that time.
Mhm.
Was it 2050 something, whatever the year
30
was?
years into the future.
Yeah, so
Wow.
30 years from now, the global warming is supposed to have melted that area of Russia, and that's
Right.
how those things got out.
Mhm.
Because I guess it crash landed and then went to the ice in 900 BC or whatever it was. I don't remember the dates. Dates are all over the place, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's a silly popcorn movie
This joint
with
is
time
straight
travel.
corny. Straight corny. If you've seen Independence Day, it's sort of the same
Mhm.
plot line. Now you're talking about there's also the same plot line with aliens as well. So someone took,
Yeah.
elements from all these sort of different, movies and said, hey, let's make this movie
Mhm.
and put it out on Amazon, whatever, right? And they came out with this. Now, the movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes long. I think
It felt long.
this movie should have been like an hour and a half. Maybe if I were the
Yeah.
ED, I'd be like, make this movie 45 minutes, dude. Let's get like, let's just
You hate
start it.
this
Like the thing
movie.
about it is, right? And this is what I don't understand about flicks like this, right?
Yeah.
The cool part of this movie was once all of the techie stuff and the time travel stuff started happening, right?
Mhm.
Even the sort
Yeah.
of family drama within, the future was still sort of
Mhm.
interesting, right? It was all the stuff leading up to that that was just like, you could have got rid of that, right? We didn't need to see like the, you know, I mean, I understand, like, just watching the soccer game and then, these people doing the whole, time
Well,
travel thing coming back,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
that's
This
the
was,
writing. That's the writing 101. You got to make the character, lead character, likable, or at least care about the
yeah,
person. So they got to show you like, look, he's a family man. Everybody likes him. He likes his family. His kids are like him too. And then
yeah,
now go do some drama. Like that's the hero's journey type thing where you got to build them up first. And
yeah.
every movie does it. Every movie makes a way to make you kind of like the character some
I
way.
agree. But do you have to take an hour and a half to build this character up, right?
No, he absolutely could have trimmed stuff down. I will
Right.
say this though.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I like the movie because it reminded me of a new version of an Alien franchise
Mm-hmm.
and a new version of Terminator because
Wow.
the time travel elements. So like I like those two franchises and it kind of reminded me of that. So overall, I turned my brain off from the plot holes and all that other stuff and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
is Chris Pratt playing Star-Lord and he's just having fun, telling jokes and whatever, and he's shooting some bugs. It's fine.
Listen,
I
let's
didn't think
get
it
it.
was the worst thing ever, though.
it
I thought it was okay.
it's the same thing as Battleship and Independence Day. The
Okay,
same
yeah. I see
storyline.
your parallels there.
It is the
Okay.
same storyline.
Yeah,
Battleship,
yeah.
folks. It is Battleship, not Battlefield. Battleship.
No,
It's
no.
the same
I see your
thing.
parallels between the
Right.
battleship. Okay, yeah.
And I
I think
enjoyed Battleship and Independence Day, right?
I hated Battleship. I liked Independence Day. I still do. I hated the
Mhm.
sequel for it, but I hated Battlefield or
Battle
Battleship.
Battleship was corny, but I could at least watch it. And I've watched it like at least
Okay.
3 or 4 times.
Okay. I
Um,
only saw it that one time where I was like, get this thing off of my TV. Like,
yeah. Let's get into a little bit of like tech stuff with this, okay? So
okay, okay.
the time portal. How
Mm.
the time portal was how they basically went
So
from the present to the future and from the future back to the present. They can only travel in two specific
yeah,
times,
the
right?
two
That's it.
spots.
Nothing in between.
And they did the little plot armor. We barely have anything technology left, so we did this is the best we could do. We can only do one time because they're like, why don't you just go back to the time where the aliens weren't there and kill them then? And they're like, no, we can't do that because we can only do this. We can only hop back a little bit. And I
Wait
was
a
like,
minute.
all right, that's the writer was like, let me cover my ass real quick, and we'll just say you can do that, and then
That's what
cool.
I'm saying.
Let it split away.
What do you think about how they traveled through time and how they once they got to that specific time, how they landed? They had to basically come out of warp or whatever it was 5
Yeah,
feet before, and
yeah.
it
So they
was
usually
so
said it was an
weird.
error.
Yeah,
They
how
said
they
there was some
came
kind of
in
problem
in
because it
their
wasn't supposed
arms
to
and
do.
legs.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to drop them where it did. They said that it
Mhm.
was some kind of error, something went wrong with the technology. So I was
Well,
like,
okay, even
all right,
before that, like when they first appeared on the soccer field and how they just came out of like the
hmm
time portal
they,
and how their
yeah,
legs were just like waving and like, just moving all around. It's just like, well, wait a minute, this is very rudimentary time travel, right? Extremely
yeah.
rudimentary. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
just
like
like, come on.
the Terminator, you it's in a globe and you come out naked. So I think that's better than the naked one. But
You come out
no, the
naked,
thing,
cock diesel, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? For real
time
strong.
time travel is a problem in movies. They can never tell it correctly. It's always a paradox, and the paradox is just a plot hole the size of the Titanic. You
Right.
cannot. There's no way to do time travel in a movie that makes sense. It always has problems. So like
Right. But
it's on its face. It's gonna be
this
bad.
time travel, like this technology or whatever the budget was or whatever, they just could not stick this because how can you have this like rudimentary type of time travel, but then you
Mm,
had the technology to put like, these bands around, individuals' arms,
mm.
so that they can basically transport to these specific, sort of times. That was kind of weird. And the other thing was like, okay, they only had 7-day deployments.
Yeah, because I guess they the argument is from the movie
Mhm.
that they can only keep you there for 7 days, and people are dying anyway. So, like, it's a short stint, and then the government was paying you money if you got called up for a service.
Mhm.
I think they're giving you like $1 million or
If
something
you
like
got
that.
killed, if you got
Yeah, if you
killed,
got
yeah.
killed,
Mhm.
yeah. So they're kind of giving you something. Like the premise, regardless, whatever movie it is,
Mhm.
time travel is going to be messy. Whether it's Back to the Future, whether it's
Mhm.
Tenet, whether it's Looper, whatever it is,
Mhm.
time travel, the paradoxes are a mess, and they don't make any sense, and it's just dumb. Like you can't, if you have to turn off your brain to watch a time travel movie. There's no way you can enjoy it if you know anything about math. I think probably see, no, I can't even say Interstellar because that's had different problems. It's a mess. You can't. There's I don't know a single time travel story that didn't get into some kind of quagmire of explaining away how time travel works and how this is okay and how this isn't okay. Whatever. It's always a mess. Never. It's always like from what I've read about it in books and stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's a mess. Can't
Okay,
be explained. Can't be done.
the first time once they were drafted, again, this was a
Mm-hmm.
worldwide draft. This is probably that was okay. That was a compelling part of the
Mm-hmm.
story where the entire world got together and said, "Hey, we now have to come together as countries around the world to fight this one enemy for our
Mm-hmm.
own survival." Now that was pretty cool. Now, but what do you think about when they were drafted and they made the jump for the first time, and then there was sort of a malfunction, and Cats
Mm-hmm.
Cats
They're
was like,
dry. Like when
"Dude,
I saw that, I was like, "Oh damn! Okay, this is what kind of movie is going to be." All
I
right, because
mean, they were
they were
falling
getting
into the
slaughtered.
building. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
like
they're getting
heads
ripped
coming
apart.
off, like wow!" And he
Yeah,
was able to land inside of a pool on top of a apartment building
yeah, on the roof, and
in
then they went down.
Miami. All of a sudden, they didn't. Here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they get drafted. They're like, you have an enemy. Go fight the enemy. No one showed told them what the enemy was. What did the enemy look like? What was it? What was that all about?
Yeah, see, the black dude was like, "You guys are just cannon fodder."
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "I'm here. I'm gonna slay as many of these things can because I have cancer and I'm gonna die anyway. So that's what I'm here for."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just living out my life the best way I can. But like
Right.
he was like, stop wasting these people and trying to teach them how to be a soldier. Just do what your mission is, get in and out and get the vials or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. These people are useless. They're just gonna get in your way. And people got killed because he tried to save the other big dude
Right.
that fell down the vent thing. And like I get it. Like I totally get it. Like it is impossible to throw these people in a war in this kind of situation with things that are hard to kill, who've never shot a gun before, never
Never.
been training, they don't know what the
They had
terminology
no
is.
training.
They
They
no
were
training.
drafted and had no training.
Yeah, they were just there to throw against the wall,
Yeah.
and so that it was like the Russian war between Germany and World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Russia just had a ton of soldiers
That's
and
it.
they just throw them at machine guns
Yep.
until they eventually move forward enough to take over that area in Stalingrad. That's literally what they're doing. They're just throwing bodies at it.
They did.
I
Mm-hmm.
guess that was crazy to me. That's kind of it's realistic in a stance because that's how governments, especially the military, look at civilians
Mm-hmm.
as just cannon fodder. But it was kind of messed up. Like that's basically what was going on here. Like they're just throwing them against the wall.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And then all of a sudden, they were able to see what the white spikes. That's the name of the
What they look
aliens, the
like.
white
Yeah,
spikes, and it's just like you can only kill them by shooting them in the neck and also in
yeah.
the stomach. You know,
Did you see Starship Troopers?
a little bit, yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
first one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar type of enemy that's like a bug type thing that's hard to kill.
Yeah.
And you got to shoot the limbs, and you got to do those extra. They're just throwing bullets at that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it also reminded me of that. Like you get drafted into the military, and you go out there, and you're just throwing bodies against the wall. Like a similar type thing. Star Starship Troopers, I think, had the closest connection to what the war part of it was like. But I think the other movies are more with the plot
Yeah.
elements were.
The Okay, so and it also looked like that the white spikes had sort of a shield on their backs because they were sort of moving in a way that they were, just
Yeah, they stop from
deflecting
getting
the
shot. Like, they have
right
hard
exactly.
shells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It,
the white spikes they were here clearly just to I guess eat. I mean, they had no technology. I mean, they didn't want any
yeah.
technology. They came with no technology. I
Well,
mean,
yeah. That's
that's
why
the
I think.
weird thing for me, right?
Well, that's why I think the white spikes are more akin to aliens,
Mm-hmm.
the xenomorphs, because it's just a weapon. Because when
Mm-hmm.
they got to Russia, they found out there was pilots on this in the ship,
Yeah.
and the pilots look semi-humanish.
Mm-hmm.
They look kind of like pigs or whatever with the face, but
Yeah.
they're humanoid forms.
Yeah.
The bipedal two legs, whatever. That's what they look like.
Right.
But so it looks like those things were transporting this colony of these earth destroying or planet destroying animals
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. But like they're not, they just seem like bugs. They don't seem like they have any genius brain or whatever. Because like in the movie Starship Troopers,
Mm-hmm.
there's like brain bugs that kind of control the other little bugs that they're like
Right.
ants. Yeah, that's like a.
Right.
It's at the end of the movie. They have this big
Right.
giant bug that's
Mm-hmm.
controlling all the other bugs.
Yeah.
They realize these are the things that are controlling it. But like
Mm-hmm.
that's it seems like they don't have any. They're just there to eat. Consume like
Mm-hmm.
locusts. They're just there to eat whatever, and that's the end of it for them. All they do is consume and kill whatever's on the planet.
So Dan Forrester was sent back into the future for a specific sort of mission that was commanded by, you guessed it, his daughter, who is also
Yeah,
a commander in the future.
time paradox. It's just time paradox all over the place.
Right. So it's just like, so he was sent to like this research facility to,
Mhm.
rescue the researchers and also, get the sort of maybe the medicine or, just something that could possibly kill these people. When they got to this facility, the white spikes had like killed these researchers, hung them up, just like, hey, this is dinner for later.
Mhm. Yeah,
and
like a spider.
yeah. And so anyway, he was able to grab these vials of like whatever it was, some sort of a medicine or something, which was, the whole point of it. And then take it back to the facility in
Mhm.
a lovely place. I've been here plenty of times, Puerto Plata, the Dominican Republic. It is the coolest spot. Don't
Yeah.
sleep on Puerto Plata. It is like pretty awesome. But
Mhm.
see, that was a little sort of they missed me there because just like how'd you get from Miami to the DR? How did that happen? Why did it happen?
Well, they said that was the last remnants of humanity is there in that little area in front of Dominican Republic. That's
Puerto
all that's
Plata.
left of that's all that's left of humanity. I guess in the soldiers that are around the world fighting still or
Yeah.
doing missions. Well, they're saying that that's it. Everybody who's on that the what is it, oil rig or whatever
That was the other
refinery.
thing. Okay, so I don't recall, and again, I've been to the Dominican a lot. I've never
Hmm.
seen oil rigs off the coastal shores of the Dominican. Never, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure if the oil rig was in
Well, I
the
don't know if it's an
DR.
oil rig. It's kind of some kind of
It
thing that
looked
looks
like an
like
oil
oil rig.
rig. I thought that
Yeah.
immediately when I first saw it. I was like, wow, that's an oil rig. They converted into something. And then they had it,
Mhm.
they also had some sort of a field around it, to
Yeah.
protect it as well. Um,
I, I would say this. The thing that annoyed me is that why would you bring the queen back to your base? Like, do you know that the queen is going to have soldiers trying to come free the queen? Why would you bring the queen back there? It would have made more sense if they had a remote place somewhere else
right.
to go do the research in. Why would you bring it back to the place where all the humans are and the time machine? That seems like a terrible
In
idea.
the time machine, which if it's destroyed, that is it. You are stuck
Yeah.
in the future or you are stuck in the past. It is over.
Yeah. That
That's what I
seems like a
mean.
bad idea.
They had the technology to create the wristbands, but they didn't have the technology to extend the
Well,
time machines.
they said that I guess they made the initial jump, and then I guess they showed them how to use whatever you have on Earth right now to
Mm,
go create these devices because they made them here in our current time, not in the future, and they didn't bring them back. I guess they had the blueprints or whatever how to make the other machine to
Right.
create the thing, so it
Mhm.
can go both ways. But I mean, this is all plot stuff that the writers have to do to kind of explain away things that can't be explained.
Right.
So I'm like, I just these type of things I just accept it. Like I like time travel movies, even though I know this is ridiculous
Right.
and it can't be done.
Right.
So yeah, there's no good explanation for it. It's all terrible. All the explanations and all the mumbo jumbo sciencey stuff is garbage. All of it. It doesn't make any sense.
So they take the queen back to the oil rig, and who knew that the White Spikes were Olympic swimmers? They were like, dude, they were just like coming in, backstroking, doing everything
Yeah.
else. I was just like, wow, it's a lot of them too. And, you know, the CGI, the CG was pretty good, during
Yeah,
the fight
CGI was
scenes
pretty
and
good.
everything. That it was pretty good, So I'm definitely gonna,
Mhm.
I love stuff like that, just like
Mhm.
how is the movie put together, technically speaking? What sort of
They spent
technology
money.
that they use?
It wasn't a cheap movie. They
No,
spent their 200 million.
200
Absolutely.
million, So that was pretty cool. So they're
No, I
back
was
in
just saying,
America. They're back in the
yeah, they're back
present,
to America.
and
Yeah.
so now they're trying to figure out. They can't go back to the future. It's gone. The machines
Yeah,
are
the
just
future, their
destroyed.
connection to the future is destroyed.
Is
Yeah.
destroyed,
For this
right?
current timeline.
Right. So they had to figure out a way to, they were just like, okay, how could they be there? They have to have come from way in the, before our time, or maybe they're here. They figured that out. This
Mhm.
sort of high school student helps, with the whole
Yeah.
volcanoes and
all
everything.
all levels of rationality and logic went out the window when that happened. When he went to the high school instead of his university or talked to another professor, he's an
Mhm.
expert in that thing. When he went to his high school and talked to the kid about I was like, okay, all right.
The leading
All
expert,
logic.
the leading expert on volcanoes is a 15-year-old guy in high school.
Yeah. I'm
Not
like, all
someone from
right.
MIT, not someone from Stanford,
Yeah.
not someone from Harvard, not someone from any sort of,
I
wherever.
I think that was just virtual signaling for they're like, hey, we have minorities and they're helping out in the movie. I hate
Right.
that in movies in general, but I think that's why they made it that
Yeah.
rather than they went to
That's
another scientist
that's
or
pretty silly.
somewhere
So
else.
anyway, they figured out that
Yeah.
maybe they're still here, and they were brought here just from, I don't know, volcano dust or whatever. So they figured out it was here
Yeah.
in Russia. So
Yeah.
anyway, they create the antivirus, the raid. I'm calling it the raid, right?
Yeah.
They created the can of raid, and
Yeah.
they realize that they have to go someplace, on the Russia Chinese
Well, they tried to
border,
go to the army first, and the army was like, "No, we're not going to do that."
and then like, dude, are you
Well,
serious?
the argument was that Russia is in the Civil War type thing and they don't have permission to fly over there.
Right.
Which, I mean, maybe, but the whole reason why you're doing all of this in the first place is because of this one thing. I would figure you would kind of check it out.
Okay, so they get to Russia. They find this alien ship that's underneath
Mm-hmm.
all this ice. They go in and they see all of the aliens, but not as many aliens as they thought. These are basically, like
Initially.
you said, someone brought this over to sort of weaponize these sort of aliens, right?
Yeah. So they go through the first room, the
Mhm.
first chamber, and they see it was like at least 12 or
Yeah.
13,
Mhm.
14 robot or aliens there.
Mhm.
All right, so they kill half of them. I think they kill six, and the other six wake up and escape.
Right.
And then one of I think it was the guy or the girl, I can't remember which one, was traveling trying to find where the other aliens went to,
Mhm.
and they found this other chamber with thousands of them in there.
Right.
Apparently,
Mhm.
the ship is way bigger than he thought it was,
It's pretty
and
huge.
so yeah, so they found this other chamber with thousands of these things in there,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Blow it, just blow it up, run,
Mhm.
blow it up." So
So they blow the ship up. However, one escapes. Is that the
the
queen?
queen, yeah, the
Okay,
queen
the
escaped.
queen. The queen, man, she takes
I
no
think,
mess. Hmm.
I think that more of these things survive. I honestly think they're more than survive, and there's going to be a sequel,
I'm
depending
going
on how this movie does.
to I'm going to hope that they don't. Let's hope that all of the white spikes are destroyed. They are never coming back. Let's hope. Keo, you
Well,
have to hope with me.
I would like to see another movie of these things. I got to defer on this
Really?
one. I like these stupid movies. I love them. I
Okay,
enjoy those.
so they blow up the ship.
They
The
blow up the
queen,
ship.
the
Yeah.
queen escapes, but
Mm.
Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons and this other guy sort of they were able to kill it, right? So they killed it. It
Yeah, they
smacked,
finally
it
killed it.
falls. It sort of, they stuck the virus into it. It
Yeah,
just
it
sort of
dies up.
destroyed it. Okay, so that's the movie. Now,
Mm.
give me your thoughts on what did you think about the movie? What would you rate it? And if you would
Okay.
watch it again, and or would you wait for another sequel or a sequel?
Okay. I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
My rating is roughly a 4 out of 5. And I know that you're thinking this is insane, crazy talk, but
Mm-hmm.
this movie is right up my alley for these kind of movies. I love these kind
Okay.
of things. There's
Mm-hmm.
just mindless popcorn fun, turn your brain off. And I've seen enough movies this year alone with that. You got. I'm getting stressed out just watching them, or a political thing, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I'm like,
Yeah.
having
Mm-hmm.
a mindless, dumb movie. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here for it now. I think this is a product more so of timing than anything
Mm-hmm.
else.
Yeah.
If it came out at a different time or there wasn't a pandemic or anything, I may feel different about it. But as it stands right now, this silliness, I was here for it. I loved it. I thought it was great.
What about a
Plot
sequel?
holes, and I would like to see a sequel. And I think there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be one. And the reason why is that I think that this movie has the potential to be a new Terminator franchise where the future is kind of fixed, and this kind of, you can't change the future.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to keep coming back or whatever. Like that with the Terminator, that was the same thing. They killed the first Terminator, the first Arnold, and then like the arm was saved, and they built the next Skynet off of that. And Terminator 2 came out, which was better than the first one. And so I think that is the potential to have, because of the time travel and the bug thing, it's kind of a mixture, amalgamation of all these movies. So it's potential, with a little tweak in the writing here and there, to be another franchise like that, which I like. So I will say that I have all my caveats and my hands in the air with this one. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I
Okay,
wouldn't mind seeing
so
another
we
sequel.
generally rate 1 to 10. So if it were a rating between 1 and 10, what would you give it as well?
I give it a 7.5, or close to 8, like 7.9 out of
Okay.
10. I'll give it.
Okay. Again, like I said, when I first saw this movie, I thought it was in the same sort of realm as Battleship and Independence Day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
100%. Yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Um, so my rating between 1 and 10, I am going to give it a 4.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm giving it a 4 is because I did like the CGI, right?
Mm.
That's why I'm giving it a 4. Like if they didn't have the CGI, I may give it a 2 or something like that, right? I also am giving it a 4 because if they had cut the movie down to like maybe an hour and a half, maybe even an hour and 45 minutes, I
Mm.
would have, maybe 2 or 3 more points there, but it was just too long. I think the whole family drama stuff, you can sort of shorten that and just get to the
100%.
whole nitty
You could
gritty,
have
right?
trimmed it down a lot for
Yeah.
sure.
I think the technology in terms of the time travel was just sort of goofy, right? And I
Mm.
understand, time travel and all these sort of portals and how you travel and every time warps and all this sort of stuff. It's sort of the same, but
Yeah. Yeah.
also slightly different across the board. But
Yeah.
this was like extreme rudimentary. This is like, people discovering time travel for the first time. This is basically what it was.
Yeah.
Would I watch it again? No. Am I excited about a sequel? No. Am I excited that the queen was killed, possibly meaning that white spikes will never exist again? Yes.
Mhm.
But I'm still going to give it a 4.
So, okay, let me ask you this.
What's up?
What do you think you could have changed to give it a better score? Like, what do you think could have fixed it? without with the trimming down and all that stuff, like what do you think as far as plot goes could have fixed the movie in your eyes?
Um, I watched all the Alien movies. I like the Alien movies. They were just sick.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like when they came out. When the first one came out, that was like ahead of its time, kind of, right? You
Yeah, that
know,
scared me. I was
yeah.
horrified of that movie.
And it was
The
sort of
first
a
one.
horror flick too, right? Not only an alien sci-fi flick, it was also a horror flick too. That was a scary movie. Watching it in
Mm-hmm.
the theater with your friends, with your boys, with your homegirls, and these sort of aliens coming, through the screen like that. That was pretty cool. Obviously, cut down on the time. I think with alien movies like that, aliens who come to destroy the world for no obvious reason. It's just like, I'm hungry. I want to destroy this planet. That's like, for me, those are silly plot lines for me. That's a serious,
Mm-hmm.
those are silly storylines for me. Just like, you know, if you're going to come and destroy a planet, a world, do it for a reason. Like, hey, you know what? You have technology I need. This planet, is here and it can help my people, survive, yada, yada, yada. To like just come on a planet and want to kill people just because you're hungry, aliens, it's just like, that's a silly movie to me, on all levels. I'll watch
Okay.
movies like that because some of them are really interesting, i.e., aliens,
Mm-hmm.
and even in Battleship and Independence Day, these were far more advanced, sort of species who came to the planet Earth. They had a
Mm-hmm.
much bigger sort of like thing they wanted to do with the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
These were just here just to eat people because they were hungry. What happens after, everyone is gone? You start like eating yourself, so
Well, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I also
But
think that take out some of those silly things too, like the expert person on
mm-hmm.
volcanoes being a 15-year-old in high school. I mean, come on, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that out. And then the other thing was, use some of that CGI. The CGI and some of the battles were like sick. They were pretty
Yeah, yeah. The
dope.
battles are good. Yeah.
Take that and like expand on that. Like for me, I'm all into like action flicks, right? I want to see a lot of action in something. Give me the family life and everything else, prop up like, the superhero or, the main
Mm-hmm.
character, prop them up a little bit, but then get into the nitty gritty. Like, let's start fighting. Let's start saving the world, and give me some serious technology. Don't give me these rinky dink time travel sort of situations where people are dropping out of warp 5 feet above the ground, and it's just like, come on, dude. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
has to be better. I mean, like, if you're gonna give me a sequel, that technology, how people time travel, it better be sick, just on point. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, peace.
All right.